Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people, fellow humans. And by humans, I mean colorful nuts. Honk. Is that a nut thing? I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, here we are. Today is Sunday, December 7th, 2025. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is G.school, part of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. Disclaimer, as I make my coffee, disclaimer, this is not for people who are already saved. If you are already saved, good for you. You've done it. You've done your duty. Good. This is for the other people, the other ones, people who are not saved, people who are not sure. The nuns, the people who are spiritual but not religious. It's for those people. What's becoming the vast majority of people. And so the idea is to help you through this life. If you believe you have a soul that is immortal, that transcends death, this is the place. You're at the right place. If you think we're just atoms in the void, that there's no ultimate meaning, you're in the right place. So no matter what, you're in the right place. Okay, cool, good. All right. Okay, that's what G.school is about. We focus on the spiritual side of life. And being a lawyer, good morning, Gerardo. Good morning. Good to see you up early on a Sunday. Hopefully you're going to be going to church. So now putting on my lawyer hat. Wait, where is it? Okay, put on my lawyer hat. I will say the preponderance of the evidence is that Jesus was who he said he was. There's not really any debate among scholars, all scholars, historians, that Jesus was an actual person. There's not any debate about that. It's not a mythical, fictional person. He was a real person. And the evidence is pretty compelling that he was resurrected. If he was resurrected, and he was who he said he was, because if he could be resurrected, if he could do all that, there's no point lying, pretending you're somebody you're not, telling here's how to live, here's what you need to do, here are my commandments. There's no point in lying and doing that. You have nothing to gain by playing games. Better just to be honest. So if we take it as true, if we take the evidence, not faith, because even Paul said it's not just by faith when he's explaining to people. He these people saw him, those people saw him, he did this, he did that. It wasn't just take my word for it. It wasn't just ask the Holy Spirit. So if you believe that Jesus is who he said he was, and he says, here's the reward if you do what I tell you to do, why would you not do it? I want to be a Buddhist. I want to be different. Okay. All right. So if you get to the end of the race and you find out, yes, we do have a transcendent soul, but I could have been in the fast lane, but I ignored that and I went the other way. Probably not going to feel good. So if Jesus was who he said he was, and there's compelling evidence that he was, versus there's not really any compelling evidence about the the spaghetti monster god, whatever that is in California. There's not really any evidence that that's true. There's a lot of evidence that Jesus is who he said he was. Secular, not from the Bible, not from the Bible, not from the Bible. Lots of evidence. And the fact that the church has been around for 2,000 years, despite all of the problems of man, the church has survived humans. If you believe that's true, then you should just do the things that Jesus commanded. And what did he command? 3 things: love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, love one another, and make disciples of all people. You can't do that if you don't go to church, some sort of church. Well, I'm just in my room, I'm praying my brains out. Okay, well, that could be, let's just say that is loving God with all of your heart, mind, and soul. What are you doing on the loving one another part? What are you doing? Well, here's what Jesus said to do: feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, to the sick, to the naked, the unhoused, and visit people in prison. What are you doing about that? I'm in my room praying. Not going to make it. Jesus said there will be people who say, Lord, Lord, that aren't going to get to heaven. We did all these things in your name. We performed miracles. We prophesied. Yeah, but you didn't do what I told you to do. Love God, love one another, make disciples. Can't do it without going to church, people. You got to go to church. Being a good person isn't enough if you want to reap the rewards of what Jesus promised, which is to be one with the Father and him. Okay, so I'm not speaking as a Bible-ish type person. I'm speaking as a neuroscience approach lawyer, somebody going to graduate school to become a chaplain, to be able to get back in the prisons, someone who goes to a school where we don't use the Bible as proof of the truth of the Bible. What? Heresy, sacrilege, you SOB. You just need the Bible. That's all you need. Sola Scriptura. No, not true. That's not true. And anybody who studies that and digs deep into that, see, that's just not true. Especially if the Scriptura did not arrive till 300 years later. What did they do for the first 300 years? Well, Paul said, prove your study, prove yourself worthy. Well, there was no Bible, there was no New Testament at that time. So he's saying, go read the Old Testament, go be a Jew, be a good Jew. No, that's not what he said. He said, follow Jesus. Sola Scriptura doesn't work. Anyway, so that's what we do on the weekends. Now, our theme of today is what? What's your body language saying? What is your body language saying? And that is Amy Cuddy. So anybody who's done our program, i.e. Gerardo, should know about Amy Cuddy. But we're going to break it down because it's so important. So important. Okay, let's go to our theme of today. Themo, memo. What's a meme? A meme is an idea that spreads from brain to brain. What's your body language saying to you? Okay, that's a tie back to Amy Cuddy. What is the advice we get from an 80-year-old? Never give up on anybody. Miracles happen every day. We all have people, if we thought about it and say, who didn't give up on me? Who didn't give up on me? We can think of somebody, maybe send them a little note. Call them up. Can't do this anymore, but people probably know what it is. It's more like this, right? Not this. Call them up. Never give up on anybody. Miracles happen every day. Can you say that about yourself? All right, Seth Godin. What does Seth Godin have to say today? Okay, who stole Seth Godin? Okay, there he is. Okay, avoiding the toxic status loop. Organizations and cultures are built on affiliation must be built. Organizations and cultures are built on affiliation and organized by status. And that status never stays stable. There's a status loop in some suburbs in how the front lawn looks. A nicely kept yard gets a nod of approval from a neighbor and might be rewarded with a higher resale price. And so one nice lawn might become 3 or 4, and then rakes come out, and the cycle continues. The same could happen with Christmas lights. Oh, true. But it also happens in some law firms where working late or weekends get you a promotion to partner. And then the race is on, with people sacrificing years of their personal lives to earn more status. The toxic status loop goes further. Not only might it harm some participants, it also ends up belaying the larger goals of culture. Body shaming can lead to toxic eating disorders, or focus on sales commissions can lead to eroding standards of ethics, all of which undermine the very point of the culture in the first place. In certain political circles, status is gained by outdoing competitors and apparently being even more true in some of the party's stated principles. Focusing on performance or fringe elements of the platform at the expense of serving the public. I don't know what that paragraph meant. The first step is noticing the loop. The second is being clear about whether the steps taken to gain more status in this area are actually aligned with why you're awarding status in the first place. Is it helping you get the job done? And finally, either changing the systems that award status or providing support and encouragement to people who refuse to create harm by single-mindedly pursuing metrics at the expense of the work to be done. Right. Avoid the toxic status loop. That's one we need to go into more depth about. Unfortunately, don't really have time today. Okay, now, next, what do we got? Let's talk about this. This is day 7 in week 1. Week 1 is down. What is the purpose of the 28-day course? The purpose of the 28-day course is to answer 2 simple questions. 1, who am I? 2, why do I behave the way I do? The idea being, if we know who we are and we know why we behave the way we do, then we can dial in who we need to be right now. We can take complete control over our existence, our behavior, the opportunities, the responsibility. We can take full responsibility if we can answer those 2 questions. The first question, who am I? We mean that literally. We don't mean it psychologically. We don't mean it spiritually. We don't mean it meteorologically. We mean it literally. Who am I? And to find the answer to that, we need to go bing, bong, bong. We need to go into our brain, and we need to look in, where is the me located? Where is the me located? That if this part is damaged, the me goes away. Okay. Now you could say, well, it's in my heart, man. It's in my heart, man. Well, because if my heart stops beating, I go away. True. But what if they put you on an artificial heart? What if you get a heart transplant? What about those things? I am my connectome. Right. We're going to learn about that next week. I am my connectome. Monday, tomorrow. Neural activity is the water. Connections is the stream bed. And over time, the water changes the stream bed. Right. But where is all of this stuff stored? Right. So it's in here, my connectome. What is the connectome? Maybe tomorrow, Gerardo will be on here and he can answer that question. Where is it? It's in my neurons, as Yuval Harari would say. It's in my neurons. Right. And what is the connectome? the number of neurons times the number of connections. And what is it, Gerardo, if you can remember, in the worm C. elegans, what is the connectome? How big is it? Well, we're going to find out tomorrow. What is the connectome in the human? Human. Right. Well, he's going to say 100 billion times 10,000, but Susanna Herculano will say, not so fast. George Banks, not so fast. Right, that's what Sebastian Song said, 100 billion. Susanna Herculano, who figured out how to accurately measure the number of neurons in all creatures that have brains, said it's more like 86 billion, and of which about 18 billion are in the prefrontal cortex. Right. So who am I, is stored in the neurons of my brain. How do we know? How do we know they're stored in your brain, Gerardo? Riddle me this. How do we know? You can wind back to Monday, Dr. Eamon. If you damage your brain, those things go away. If you get a nail driven through your hand, it's not going to really affect who you are. It might affect how you perform, but you're still you. Your memories, your anticipated future, lived past, your ability to simulate, all that does not change. However, you have a nail driven through your skull, have a stroke, have a broken blood vessel in your brain. You're going to not be you. So we know it's in the brain. And now we have the technology sophisticated enough to look at that. But let's talk about Amy Cuddy for the last 4 minutes. Amy Cuddy, and the question of who am I? Amy Cuddy says, we talk to ourselves. So body language. Mostly when somebody says body language, we're thinking about what is my body language to you? So if you watch my interview from the other day, you get very clear, my body language is this. I'm doing like a number one, okay, and this and that. And my body language is showing confidence and a lot of testosterone going on there. And that's my body language. Now, we might break it down and be a little bit more sophisticated and say, what's my body language to you? Not what's your body language, not what is your body language telling me? What is my body language telling you? So that's what I just said about me in my interview. What was my body language telling you? Turn it around. What was my body language telling you? Okay, so that's the first one. What is somebody's body language telling the observer? And we can flip it around and say, what is the body language the person being observed wants to project? So the first one we mainly deal with is, what am I receiving? How do I perceive you? How do I judge you based upon your body language? The second one is, how do I project that to other people? That comes back to the first law of power, right? First law of power. Power perceived is power achieved. Perceived, how it appears. Okay, so if I project the appearance that I'm a dummy, if I wear a hat pulled down like this with my ears tucked in, right? I have little boy pants on, short pants on, long socks, and I'm pushing a bicycle, little bicycle, tiny bicycle with raised handlebars. What am I projecting? Am I projecting power? No, I'm projecting a 35-year-old guy who looks like he's 45 but wants to act like he's 17. Doesn't work. You're not a player. Not a player. So you want to project power. But the third level, and what Amy Cuddy's talking about, is, what does my body language say to me? What does my body language say to me? And how can I dial in who I need to be? So it's very simple. Power posing. It says, before an interview, go in the restroom and for a few minutes, make yourself as large as possible. Avoid this. especially this. Be large, release testosterone. Testosterone will makes us feel bigger, better. She says people with a lot of testosterone think they're better at winning games of chance, meaning there's no skill involved, but you think you can influence the outcome. That's our body language to us. So our lesson learned, our takeaway from Amy Cuddy is we always want to project our best image. Take a little bit more time and dress for success. Notice undershirt, undershirt, shirt, and then I'll probably have a jacket on over this. During the summer, I'll always have 3 shirts. And people go, well, man, hey, man, aren't you dying, man? No, I'm not dying. But what is it doing to the person? It's projecting power, right? How can you handle that, man? I've got to wear shorts and sandals and a tank top shirt because it's so hot out here. Well, it's hot because you're not covered, okay? That's why it's hot. You got the sun beating down on your skin. But my answer is it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Mind over matter. I don't mind because it doesn't matter. So what if it's a little bit hot outside? Enjoy the suck. Embrace the suck. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you do that and you have that attitude, what are you projecting to yourself? I'm tough. I'm not weak. I can handle it. Other people are going to drop off. I'm going to keep going. I don't need, when I get in a car, I don't need to adjust the seat is the first thing I do. I move the seat forward. Why? It's just a little game I play. I move it forward and people are like, why are you moving the seat forward? Doesn't it cramp your legs? I'll say, because I want to be able to see better. Okay, so that's it. Tomorrow, okay, Gerardo, tomorrow is I Am My Connectome. It's Sebastian's song. Hopefully you can make it live. If you can't, please watch it. It'll be a good refresher. Spaced repetition helps learn more. These are big skills that if you use them, you'll have a super advantage over everyone else. Today's takeaway is what your body language says to you. Give yourself good messages, positive, enriching. Repent and believe in the good news. Okay? The kingdom of heaven is within you. It is in your midst. Let's nurture that power with the audacity to have better versions of ourselves and our community, to love God with all our heart, mind, and soul, to love one another as Jesus loved us, and to love ourselves unconditionally. Bingo, bango, bongo. And with that, we're going to say, hasta la vista, baby. Shalom, shalom.